Hey there, Scott Miller here, and waiting for Rachel to jump on here. I think I sent her the right one. We'll find out here in a second here. Welcome to the first show of Rachel and Miller. And let's figure out where she is. You know what? Let's just send her another one. Use the same link. No. You know what? I don't know, Rachel. So, wait, did I just hear you? Maybe. Oh, wait, I can see her at the stage.
Let me make sure that my camera isn't blocked.
Your camera is definitely blocked. Hey there.
No, I'm here.
Well,
I'm here.
I know that. I see you now. So we are now, we're actually streaming also, by the way, just so you know. Yeah, gotta love that.
We are?
We are streaming on Facebook.
You want to stream right away, huh? No, Miller, I didn't give you permission for that.
No.
I gave you zero permission for that.
I made the executive decision at 2:30.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I deserve that. Great.
So you know, I'm going to do an intro of you because I can. So welcome everyone to our very first episode. I'm Scott Miller, and today I have the absolute pleasure of introducing someone who's been a shining star in my life for almost 30 years, my good friend, the one and only Rachel Moreno. Buckle up, because Rachel's journey has been Moreno, tomato.
You've known me so long that you know exactly how to pronounce my last name.
But right, that's kind of the beauty of it. Moreno. Well, yeah. So, yeah, now I lost my train of thought. No, you might think you met a multi-talented individual before, but trust me, Rachel takes that to a whole new level. Picture this. She's been everything from a Parks and Rec community leader to an HBO executive. You know what? I still have my watch from The Sopranos. I still have my watch.
You do?
I do. I still have my anyway.
Might be worth something.
Last time I checked, it was like $7.50. Executive, what? You know, Rachel and I are the people that can't be sitting next to each other in a meeting because they will say, you over there. But then we're just like,
we have to be separate most of the time.
Yes, I would agree. So, it's not even scratching the surface. We're talking about a whirlwind career that takes her across industries like fashion, entertainment, fitness, and yes, even real estate. Because look, the show is Rachel Miller. It's all about real estate. But how many people do you know that have actually taught dance, saved lives as a lifeguard, and I won't even crack any jokes about CPR, I promise, and sold women's fashion with style. Rachel has done it all and a lot more. So let's start some of the highlights. Back in the day, Rachel started out in retail, selling everything from children's clothing to cell phones. And for the record, that's where she and I met some years ago at Pac-Bell PCS way back in the day. She's been making waves in women's fashion and
systems.
Right, GPS or GSM. Yeah, GSM. She was even a teen model. Look at that. Rachel was rocking runway before TikTok was even a thought, but Rachel's not just a pretty face. She's also a bartender, a valet. Yep, she can drive anything with wheels, folks. So I would not piss her off. She even ran a clubhouse as a manager, and she made sure everything ran like a well-oiled machine, even with tequila. And then there's the fitness side. This woman is practically a superhero. I've seen her cape. It ties around there and she flies. See, I had this all written down. Oh, cool. Lifeguard group of fitness. Okay.
You're doing amazing.
I do. Okay, good. Because I was kind of winging it here. Been a lifeguard, a group of fitness. Maybe. I'm not going to answer that question. She's been a dance teacher, a pilates instructor, and a personal trainer. Personal trainer.
I am a personal stranger. Yes.
Yeah, stranger danger. If it keeps you in shape,
stranger.
If it keeps you in shape, Rachel's done it. My shape is round. Not to mention her time as a nutrition coach. People not just look their best, but feel their best too. I have a question for you on that too. Rachel also has a chapter and a continuing chapter. Well, kind of as a stay-at-home mom. However, her stay-at-home mom, her daughter, is now flown the coop and is going to college at a college here in California. And I'll tell you, that's one of her proudest roles. And she's also married to Mark. Wasn't Mark, and I'm going to get this wrong, but wasn't he a UFC champion fighter dude or something like that? UFC.
He was a fighter. Yep. He was fighting UFC before it became like the big UFC we know today.
So kind of like TikTok and
retired
Runway.
out when it was sort of. He definitely did. He did cage fighting, octagon fighting, underground fighting. He did all of that kind of grappling, Muay Thai, mixed martial arts before it became the big commercial phenomenon it is now. So, but yes.
Wow. So
he's no joke.
No, I agree. That's why I say, hi, Mark. I do. Stay-at-home mom, proudest role. She goes ahead and also add bookkeeper and HBO executive to her resume. She has picked every possible career in the game of life and said, why not try them all? That sounds like me. That's where she's landed today. I don't know if
that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, it's called life. It's called life experience, is what I call it. Today, as a real estate agent, she puts her incredible people skills and boundless energy to work for her clients. Rachel's story isn't just about career moves. It's about resilience, adaptability, and a sense of adventure that always keeps her reaching for more. She's funny, quick-witted, tough as nails, and honestly, she's as perverse as I am. She'll never admit that, though. Which, trust me, makes for some very interesting conversations. But most of all, she's someone who I really like. Wow, yes, you just caught me reading it. She's someone who cares deeply about her community, her family, and the people she works with. And so join us as we kick off this podcast journey with Rachel. We're talking real estate, all kinds of fun stuff. We're talking life. We're talking about all things crazy, hilarious, inspiring moments along the way. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Rachel Moreno experience. And Moreno. I'm going to write it on my hand so I can just look down. So get ready for the Rachel Moreno experience. And that's Rachel. And I don't think I missed anything in there. I should probably move this so I'm not looking over off of the screen. There. Oh, look, you're on my screen now.
Not only did you not miss anything, but I think you actually made a few things up.
Wait, was that the superhero part? Is that what I made up? Maybe? I don't know.
Speaking of superheroes, that's an amazing segue for something. Can I segue, Miller?
You consider yourself.
I don't know if you want to get into. I mean, at some point, we definitely want to do an introduction to you that does justice. You were a little bit more prepared than I am at that, so maybe second time around we could do the drum roll for you. But you mentioned superhero, which I think is really, really interesting because Mark and I. We watched the Superman documentary last night on Max. I don't know if it was in the theaters. I remember being in a movie theater and watching the trailer, and just watching the trailer made me very teary-eyed. Me, like many American women, love Christopher Reeves. And he really was amazing. And watching this documentary and just learning about his life and learning how he persevered and learning. I mean, I always kind of knew, because we knew if you were paying attention to the news back in the late 90s and early 2000s, Christopher Reeves was a big deal in his efforts to lobby for medical science to help people with spinal cord injuries who cannot walk, help them walk again. He also really pioneered the whole medical science part of stem cell research, which is one of the reasons why back in 2005, before stem cell was really known for much, we did bank stem cells after I gave birth to Bella from umbilical cord collection. So we have stem cells banked. But when I was watching, I watched it and it was amazing and it was so emotional. And I got very teary eyed. And at the end, I thought, look what this guy, look what he did. Look what he overcame. Look what he refused to back down from. And I don't want a door knock.
Nope.
I don't want a door knock because, or, just like, I don't want a door knock because I don't want to be rejected. Or
right.
I don't want to make a phone call because I don't want to be rejected. Or I don't want to do this because it may not work out. It does. And I thought, no more sitting back and holding back because I'm afraid of a response that is less than welcoming. And so I think it's really interesting that you brought up superhero and that I watched this movie last night and thought, if you are a healthy, living, breathing individual with any kind of substance in between your ears and you have your lungs work and your legs work, there is no stopping you. We can really go do whatever it is we really, really want to do. Look what Christopher Reeves did with his life.
I think it comes down to passion.
So absolutely. I can be very, there's some subjects I'm very passionate about. That's going to be health, wellness, nutrition, fitness. That all came very easy for me. I started dancing like literally the minute I was born, but I started taking lessons when I was about 10 or 11, inspired by great teachers. And I just kept going. And it wasn't about being fit. It wasn't about exercise. It was because I loved to dance and whatever came with that in terms of health and fitness and wellness and awareness of how to eat and what to eat and when to eat. All of that comes along with it. But for me, it was just because I was dancing. And I also believe, when I was younger, I had learning disabilities. I have dyslexia. I was kind of like in some of the special ed rooms when I was little. I had a speech impediment. I literally walked with my feet turned in. Like I was like, I needed a little bit of a tune-up. And we worked at it. And I didn't have a choice but to plow through. Like there was really no choice. And I didn't even know that it was just what I did. I just kind of plowed through. So being, the whole dancing and all of that stuff, that just comes natural for me. I'm passionate about it. I can talk about it all day long, but to go into a completely different industry like real estate,
yep,
learn completely new way of a complete different vocabulary. I'm working with people with personalities and characters that are totally different than ones that I've encountered my whole life in the health and wellness and fitness industry. Having to use my brain in a completely different way. That to me it's been very challenging for me. So going back to the superhero cape, I'm going to say, I have a little plaque up here that my best friend Kristen gave me, and it's a quote from Rocky because I'm a huge Rocky fan. And I think it's because of that whole underdog, work hard, passion, perseverance. It's not how many times you get hit, it's how many times you hit back. And now I think that Superman is also going to be one of my little idols that I look on to for my motivation. And so awesome. There.
I'm going to steal your word. I'm going to segue into two different things because we haven't said this. Is Rachel and I work for two completely different brokerages. We met years ago, and Rachel works. No, don't. I already did. I'm not telling you. I'm not. No.
54.
Yeah. What?
It's only 27 years.
How can that be? I'm only 18 with experience. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Rachel works and see, gratis, right? I said it right.
Gratis Homes and Estates, yes.
Yes, Rachel works for Gratis Homes and Estates. I work for a company called Epic Realty. And this kind of goes back to the superhero thing, actually. We're going to use, that's kind of be our title today, is how do the superheroes get things done, but they find people who can work well with them, or they can keep their secrets and they can keep doing their battle. Well, in real estate, it's all about relationships. And who do you know? Who can you call to make something happen? That is super important. If I don't know it, I will find out the answer. I can call Rachel and say, you would not believe what just happened today. And she can do the same thing. And yes, we're both in real estate, but there's a lot of agents out there who just feel that another agent is their competitor. And I guess technically, yes, they're a competitor. However, competitors can work together. And I don't want to say enemy of my enemy is my, wait, how's that? I don't remember how that goes. Anyway.
If your friend's close and your enemy's closer.
That's true too. But I wouldn't ever want to say that the home seller or home buyer is the enemy. That's not the way I meant by that at all. But that's where it was coming out as, and that's not what I mean. But there are so many new rules coming out, and then have come out. Oh, by the way, on January 17th, there's a bunch of new rules coming out too, Rachel.
Good. So we can talk about those and maybe have somebody on to help clear some of it up.
I have that all lined up. So I met her today, and I was like, wow. It's some just, I like them a lot. And actually some of them, it's going to be more in your market than in my market. It's just, a lot of it has to do with leases and rentals. Our two markets are so diametrically different. If we just look at apples to apples, my market, I'm up here in Ridgecrest, California, which is 3.5 hours north of Los Angeles, 2 hours east of Bakersfield, and 3 hours south of, Mammoth. And we're about 2.5, 3 hours west of Las Vegas. I'm in an area called China Lake Naval Weapons Testing Center. I work at Ridgecrest, or in Ridgecrest. However, half a block that way is the world's largest naval base. Yes, a Navy base in the middle of the desert. And that's all I'm going to say about the Navy base, because it's a gigantic base. And Rachel, you know more about your market than my average price point appears like $270,000 is what I saw yesterday. That's an average price point, and I've sold a house for $15,000. Yes, $15,000, and those are still available. You can call me at 760. So, Rachel.
Yeah. Our market is not that.
No.
So, and I don't know if you want me to elaborate on that now, or if you want to continue with your thought.
No, go ahead, please.
So, I'm in Thousand Oaks, Ventura County area, also known as the Conejo Valley. I'd like to say that I represent, of course we can go into LA, and my partners have gone into LA. I haven't had any transactions in LA yet. LA is a whole other beast, a whole other market. But if you look in like smack in the middle of Thousand Oaks, which, started building these tract homes probably in like 1967. So these are simple homes, all walls and rooms. Nowadays we like open concept and blah, blah, blah. But this is like you walk in, you're in a hall, you go here, you're in the kitchen, you go here. There's 4 bedroom, 2 bath, on a decent sized lot, maybe like 7,000 square foot lot. These homes are 1.2, 1.5. And they need, some of them need work. Some of them haven't been updated ever since, or maybe they were updated in the 80s or the 90s, but they need updating. And so, our average home, I think if you looked on the MLS, the average is probably going to tell you like 925,000. But I think that saying 1.2 is probably more fair. And that's for a 1976 built home that needs upgrades. So you can imagine going into like a home that's built later, something in the 90s. Or another thing that happens is these 1967 homes are being bought by investment companies or investment groups, and they're being flipped and sold for, 300, 400,000 more than what they sold it for. So now people are looking to get into a home that has been flipped, and it's 1.5. So it's a tough market to get into as a new buyer.
It's yeah.
And that's Thousand Oaks. That's not Westlake, which the price point goes up. That's not Calabasas, where the price point goes up, or Gar Hills, where the price point goes up. That's Thousand Oaks. And Newbury Park is pretty much the same.
Or Simi Valley. I mean, the whole Ventura County area is there. I sent Rachel a picture of a house that was on the market, and she's like, "That's a total teardown, right?" Like, no, it's moving. She's like, no. I said, no,
my taste is way too. I'm like, ew, and he's like, "This is great. Move in." I'm like,
She sends me the house that she's doing an open house at. It's like on the water, and there's whales in the bay. I'm like, seriously? Yeah,
I have done. We recently, my mentor slash founder of Gratis successfully sold a home on the harbor in Oxnard Shores. And my other partner he found the buyer. So it was great for both of them. I was super excited about that transaction. Doing the open houses in that home did not suck. It was beautiful.
I think that's
I imagine myself living there every day.
I think that's when I sent you that picture of that house. You're like, that's a teardown, right? I'm like, no, it's move-in ready. She's like, no, this is move-in ready. I'm like, okay, touche.
Yeah.
And I should have said this in the beginning, but I'm going to say it now. The thoughts and opinions that are talked about on Rachel and Miller are those opinions of Rachel and Scott Miller, right. And does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of who we may or may not work for. So
good
was
call,
that a good?
Miller.
I think I kind of I think you'll agree is when it comes to real estate, yes, there are some hard, fast rules. However, a lot of it is so subjective. Like my move-in ready, you're like, no, it's a teardown.
We all have different opinions. We all have different needs and wants, and it's just all completely relative, and that's perfectly fine.
It is, and where I live in the desert, where it comes up to I think last summer I had a couple of days was 126 degrees, and we don't like to go outside when it's that hot. It gets really warm. And like I think last night it was 22 last night. So it's 22 last night, and I think our high right now it's 53 and very windy. So it feels really cold out. So Rach, here's a question for you. If a brand new agent walked up to you and other than run, and they said, "Hey, Rachel, give me one piece of advice in a paragraph," what would it be? If you could give a brand new agent one piece of advice in a paragraph, other than run fast, run hard.
Well, I think I would ask them what their goal was in their first year.
You don't get to ask that. You get to, you said, no, that wasn't part of the question.
But I'm inquisitive. I don't like just answering questions without getting a little bit more information.
And that's why you're a great realtor, because that's right there.
Oh, thank you. But I'll play along.
Okay, play along. I could,
I would probably start them off the way my mentor has started me off is first look at your sphere of influence, create your contacts, get your calendar together. Know in your sphere of influence, know when important dates are, know when birthdays are, anniversaries. Maybe they own a home. When did they purchase that home? Home purchase anniversaries. Put together your Google Calendar, earmark all those dates, check your Google Calendar constantly. And when those dates pop up, that's when you start marketing to your sphere of influence. You send birthday cards, you send happy anniversary cards, you send things personally to them on those special occasions. That's a really great way to start reaching out to your sphere of influence without just calling for no reason and saying, "Hi, Ted, I'm a realtor now, wondering if you want to sell your home, or for just kind of. So the first thing is get your systems in place. Part of that system is having your contacts in place, wherever that may be, whether you're just using your contacts in Google, or if you have some kind of, I'm losing the word.
Sorry, I just got distracted because something blipped on my screen. I don't know what it was. What was that? Oh, there it is.
If you have a program that
CRM.
store all CRM, thank you. Thank you. We could play on the $10,000 pyramid. So start there, and I'm still building my systems. I'm still trying to figure out what those systems are. My mentor says, have your systems, have everything in place every day. You know exactly what you're going to do on that day, and you do those same things on those same days as best you can. Once you start really getting transactions going and you're running around and you're doing stuff, it's very hard to stay within those systems and stay on track, because now you're going in a million directions. But fine. But at least getting started with those systems so that those systems are solid. And like I said, I'm still working on them. For people who have creative brains, or where their thoughts can go off in a different direction, a million different directions with different ideas, it's very hard to lasso down into a system and figure out systematically what works. It's almost better for like a type A personality. That's not me. So I am still trying to figure out what those systems are that work for me. I have some of them in place. I can't say that I'm a well-oiled machine yet, but I'm working on it.
It's funny that you just said that. It's not funny, it's funny, interesting. As I am working with, I have two houses in escrow right now, and I am a very firm believer of keeping aces in their places. And I know that there are people that do things better than myself, like paperwork. And I hire a transaction coordinator. And that to me is the best thing ever. That's all they do is paperwork. That's all they eat, drink, bleed. That's their life, is paperwork. I know that I can rely on my transaction coordinator. Where I'm going to is, I got a text message today from my seller. I don't know if I want to say this out loud, but I guess I will. The question was, Scott, are you still my realtor? Yes, I am. Are you passing the buck? No. I'm keeping aces in their places. But going back to well-oiled machine, what that taught me was I need to do a better job at educating my client of what I'm doing. And
communication.
It's communication, and effective communication, and making sure that the communication is understood. I was like, okay, interesting. And that's something with all these new laws coming out, that's what a lot of it comes down to, is communication. The one that came out most recently, was where the how do I make that make sense now? Everything's always been negotiable. The compensation for the buyer and seller's agent, it's always been negotiable. However, there are people that wouldn't negotiate, and they wouldn't tell their client, hey, that's negotiable. I forgot where I was going to go with that. Everything's
communication. Communication is key.
So thank you. So I'll pick on Rachel for a second. And she has a client who likes one of my houses. Previously, you could go look at the MLS and say, oh, look at that. The seller is going to be paying 18% or 8%, 4%, 3% on for paying into the compensation for the buyer's agent. Well, with the new laws that have come out, that's no longer broadcast, and it's not even on the MLS. It's between the seller's agent and his client of what, if anything, the seller is going to contribute to the buyer's agent's compensation. And what these laws would enable people to do is, Rachel would call me and ring, 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 ring. Hello, it's Scott. Hey, Scott, it's Rachel over here at Gratis. Is your customer going to be contributing to the buyer's agent fees? Well, I know Rachel, and I'd probably say, yeah, they probably will. Or I'd say, yes, they are. It's going to be 3%. Or I could say, submit me an offer, and I will talk to my client. You could do it in any number of ways. But it does, I like it. There are a lot of people that say they don't like it because they have to call somebody. Again, the opinions expressed on this program is those the opinions of the guests and the hosts, and not those opinions of anybody they may or may not work for. I like that. I like someone to call me and say, hi, this is XYZ. Are they paying anything towards this? And I can say, yeah. Yes.
Let me ask you a question. So this client looped back to you and said, are you still my agent? Was that because the client was hearing from your transaction coordinator rather than you? Okay. So like the important thing, and then also you were, and that came from keep aces in their places. We do have, we do have a transaction coordinator because I'm a newer agent. And I think I have 1 or 2 more transactions where I need to be all in so that I completely understand what's going, how it functions. And then at that point, I can kind of step out and push things over to our transaction coordinator. But right now I'm like, my training wheels are on and we're still figuring it out. So, but yes. And at some point as an agent, the hope is that you are generating enough income to where you can have an assistant and you can have some help. I am pretty much a lone ranger right now. Aside from, we do have a great assistant. She's there to help 100%. And Shane, my mentor's like, you need to have your hands in this as much as possible so that you completely understand. There will be a point where I can focus more on my communication parts. But going back to what you were saying, an important thing is, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Client, just so you know, my transaction coordinator's name is such and such, and you will be hearing from them. And please do reach out to me at any time if you have any questions or concerns, if something pops up. But just know that my TC is going to be calling you and working with you on this thing so that they don't feel like, wait, there's a switcheroo going on here? What's going on?
And absolutely. And I see that and you mentioned it a second ago, there are agents I know that do have assistants, and the agents will be the face of the sale, and then they disappear into the ozone and their assistant takes over. Right. I don't ever anticipate, let me rephrase that. I won't ever let that happen. As far as we disappear into the ozone. Well, I have an assistant, you bet. I have a TC now, and I will say when the assistants are in play, one is able to get more work done for his or her customers, his or her clients. We have a viewer. I don't know who it is, but hi, viewer.
We do. Look at your, I also sent you a text, Scott. Look at it real quick.
Okay. I will look at the text right now. Please ask all your guests to stay until, okay. Yes. I agree. Yeah, but anyway, hi guest. Welcome to the Rachel and Miller show. I can't see who you are. So that's kind of cool. But so we could do this all day, but we won't because we're now at almost 35 minutes. So here is the question.
Let's talk about really quick. Let's just give a rundown of some of the topics that we want to cover in our next upcoming podcast, so that
please, yeah,
people can kind of know where we're coming from, what we want to, what our goal is here, and what we'd like to do. Okay,
you want to start? Or you want me to start?
You can start.
Okay, cool. Real estate tips for buyers and sellers, and that kind of happens organically anyway. Wellness tips and wellness ideas for active, busy lifestyles. That's going to come from her right there. That's Rachel. And real estate myths, things that people think that aren't real, and fun guest appearances. Rachel and I were talking about this last night about different people we want to have on. I just talked about the woman I want to have on. Her name is MJ, who is a contract guru and has all the latest contracts. And, it's just talking about real estate, and we having the ability to bring people on and have them ask questions, have them go back and forth. and have it fun. Is being collaborative, I think, is one of the beautiful things. Rachel, go. You're 10.
Yeah. So also just the idea of coming, I'm a rookie, right? I mean, I've had transactions. I'm not completely green, but I am new to the industry, and I've come from a totally different side of the world.
Your English is really good.
I think you're a year ahead of me in your license.
Right.
But for anyone new coming into this, I feel like I can kind of like be a place to land and be like, where do I start? Because this world is so big. It's a huge industry. It's a huge world, and there's so much to know.
It's
so
like drinking,
just kind of
like drinking through a fire hose.
And asking the questions you're afraid to ask because you don't want to look like you don't know anything. So that's kind of where I'm coming from as a new agent, what it's like to be a new agent, and also the fact that you and I are in different markets. I like to talk about, the contrast and comparisons of our markets, and also the brokerages that we're with. I'm powered by Side, you're powered by Epic. What is that like? What does that mean? Right. So I'm talking about those things, and also the fact that, look, we're even like, it's like Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're the dark one. Darth Vader.
You just call me Darth Vader.
Do you remember? We actually saw Star Wars together. Do you remember?
With Brian Smith, Carl Noel. Oh my gosh.
Yes. We waited in line. I don't remember which one that was. Like, it was like the first one after all of the thirds. Anyways, you and I are both Star Wars dorks, and we can talk about that later. But just the fact that, like, I'm like a stormtrooper and you're Darth Vader.
I'm still back there. Wow, that was on.
We did. We went and saw Star Wars together so long ago.
Universal Studio or Universal City
Was
Walk.
it? I don't remember where we were.
Yeah.
I just knew I was with you guys and we were having the best time.
Yeah, it was a Universal.
Wow. Anyway, so just talking about, the fact that we are working for different brokerages, but, blood is thicker than water in your blood. And, we've been friends for so long. We've seen each other through so many things. And this is just so cool that this is happening now. I
agree. So if you have questions, not you, Rachel, but you'll just call me. But anybody who's watching this recorded, as like I said, we're streaming it. If you have questions or want to see something on here, reach out. Drop us an email, drop us a text, drop us a instant message. I'm all over Facebook. Rachel's all over Facebook.
I wanted to say that my Facebook is Rachel Margolis Moreno. That's Facebook for me. And my Instagram is Rachel, 3 Moreno.
Yes. And mine is homeswithscottkmiller.com on everything. Homeswithscottkmiller.com, not darthvader.com.
So we're a work in progress. I think we want to try and keep things within a 30 minutes so that we're quick and fun and entertaining, and we're a work in progress. And I'm looking forward to seeing how we can really, make this a fun thing.
We're 9 minutes over what we said we were going to do, but I think we had fun, and we've had a couple people pop in. I don't know who they are. I want to figure out how I can do that. So very good. Well, cool. Rachel, as always, it's a pleasure, and I will talk to you very soon. And did I say it? Yeah. What's your email address, Rachel, for your office?
My email address is I'll give you Rachel, RACHEL @gratishomes.com. Gratis, awesome. GRATUS, gratis.
Gratis. And mine is
as in gratitude.
As in gratitude. Thank you. Mine is Scott Miller, all one word, at Epic, EPIQUE. Yes, it's pronounced Epic and not a peak or Epic or anything like that. It is the French spelling of Epic, EPIQUE.me, Scott Miller at epic.me. And you can also text me or call me 760-264-3501, 760-264-3501. And yeah, very good. Rachel, I will jump away and you'll jump away and we will talk very soon. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Rachel.